Welcome back to Coin Collector's World, the place where every coin has a hidden story and where ordinary pocket change transforms into treasures before our very eyes. Today, we will embark on a journey into the fascinating story of one of the most talked about quarters in United States history, a coin that looks simple, a coin that passes from hand to hand without notice, and yet a coin that can surprise collectors with unbelievable value. That coin is the Washington quarter from the year 1983, struck at the Denver Mint, carrying the tiny but powerful letter D just beneath the date. To truly understand why this coin is so special, we need to rewind the clock a little. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932, originally intended as a one-year commemorative issue to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first President of the United States. But the design was so admired that it became permanent. From then on, the Washington quarter became an everyday coin in American life, seen in purses, wallets, registers, and cash drawers across the nation. For decades, people never thought twice about them. They were just coins. But collectors knew better. They understood that every year tells a story, every mint mark holds meaning, and every error or rarity carries the chance of a hidden fortune. Now let's move into the early 1980s, a time that would unexpectedly change the collecting world. In 1982 and 1983, the United States Mint made a decision that would affect coin collectors forever. They did not produce the usual uncirculated mint sets for those years. Normally, mint sets give collectors clean, high-quality examples of coins, safe from the scratches and wear of circulation. Without those sets, the only way to get a 1983 quarter was to pull one directly from circulation, and that meant nearly all of them were destined to get beaten, scratched, and worn down in everyday use. Imagine coins rolling through coin machines, clinking in jars, sliding through cash registers, and riding around in people's pockets. By the time collectors realized their importance, it was too late. Most of the finest coins had already been scarred by circulation. The Denver Mint struck millions of quarters that year. At first glance, they were no different from any other. But hidden within that ocean of coins were a small number of examples that came off the presses with nearly perfect details, sharp edges, bright luster, and flawless surfaces. These are the survivors, the rare gems that collectors hunt for today. And because so few survived untouched, the demand for them is fierce. Think about it. How many times have you handled a quarter and never once stopped to check the date or mint mark? That is what makes this coin so fascinating. It hides in plain sight. Even today, you might have one in a coin jar or a forgotten drawer. Most will be worn and worth only face value, but once in a while, an extraordinary one turns up. That is the thrill of coin collecting, the possibility that the next coin in your change could be a treasure. Collectors prize the 1983 D quarter for another reason too. This coin sits at the crossroads of modern collecting, a time when people assumed new coins would never be valuable. Silver was gone, replaced with copper-nickel cladding. Millions of coins were minted each year. People thought the age of rare coins had ended. But the 1983 D proved them wrong. It reminded collectors that rarity is not always about how many coins were made but about how many survive in pristine condition. Over the years, auctions have told the story of this coin's growing fame. When a high-grade 1983 D Washington quarter appears, collectors compete fiercely. Bidding escalates quickly, because each collector knows how hard it is to find one. Stories of discovery circulate in the collecting community, tales of people who found an untouched coin in an old roll of quarters, or who noticed a brilliant piece in their pocket change and decided to set it aside. Those lucky few who recognized the treasure early became the keepers of one of the most coveted quarters of the modern era. So let us paint a picture. Imagine holding a quarter in your hand. At first it feels ordinary, just 25 cents. But as you tilt it under the light, you notice the luster glows, the details of George Washington's profile stand sharp and crisp, and the surfaces are smooth and nearly untouched. Then you glance at the date, 1983. Just below it, a small letter D gleams. Your heart races as you realize what you might be holding. That feeling, the excitement, the possibility, the magic of discovery, is what keeps collectors searching day after day, and now we come to the moment you have been waiting for. What is the ultimate value of this simple piece of pocket change? How much can a single 1983 D Washington quarter be worth if it is preserved in the finest condition? The answer is astonishing. In the right grade, this little coin has been known to sell for as much as $45,000. That is the power of knowledge, the beauty of collecting, and the reason why coins that seem ordinary can change lives. So the next time you are handed change at the grocery store, do not be too quick to spend it. Take a closer look. Check the date. Find the mint mark. Study the condition. Because the treasure you are searching for could be sitting right in your palm. Today's journey takes us deep into the world of American coinage, and our spotlight is on a very special piece, the 1986 Washington quarter dollar with the D mint mark. This coin may seem ordinary at first glance, but once you uncover its history, its design, and its collector's potential, you'll realize why this quarter deserves your full attention. Let's start with the background. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, the father of the nation. What began as a commemorative issue quickly became a permanent part of U.S. currency, replacing the standing Liberty quarter. By 1986, the Washington quarter had already been in circulation for more than 50 years, and it continued to carry the familiar design that Americans had grown to recognize in their daily lives. Now, let's break down the design details of the 1986 D quarter. On the obverse side, we find the strong and noble portrait of George Washington, facing left. Sculpted by John Flanagan, this portrait has become one of the most iconic images in American numismatics. Above Washington's head, the word Liberty arches proudly, reminding us of the ideals upon which the United States was founded. Just to the left of his profile sits the national motto, "In God We Trust," a phrase that has graced American coinage for generations. Beneath his bust lies the year 1986, and right next to it, a small but powerful mark, the letter D, standing for the Denver Mint, the birthplace of this particular coin. Turning the coin over, the reverse design offers a magnificent view of America's national bird, the bald eagle. With wings spread wide, the eagle stands on a bundle of arrows, symbolizing readiness to defend the nation, while resting above an olive branch, symbolizing the pursuit of peace. The inscriptions United States of America and E Pluribus Unum encircle the design, along with the denomination quarter dollar. This design was used from 1932 all the way to 1998, making it one of the longest-running reverse designs in U.S. coin history. Now let's dive into the mintage and rarity. In 1986, the Denver Mint struck an enormous number of Washington quarters, more than 400 million. With numbers that high, it's natural to assume that these coins would never be worth more than their face value. After all, when hundreds of millions are produced, how could a single coin stand out? But this is where the world of coin collecting gets fascinating. Despite massive mintages, not all coins are created equal. The majority enter circulation and quickly gather scratches, nicks, and wear from daily use. They lose their luster and become just another common piece of change. But a small fraction manages to survive in pristine condition. These are the coins that never made it into circulation, carefully preserved in rolls, bags, or collections. Over the years, these untouched coins have become treasures for collectors. What makes a 1986 D quarter valuable is not its age alone. After all, the coin is not even 40 years old, but rather its condition, its strike quality, and in some cases, unique errors. Collectors prize coins that grade highly on the professional scale used by grading companies such as PCGS and NGC. A coin graded mint state 65, for example, is already considered a gem. But when a coin reaches mint state 67 or 68, it becomes a rarity, and the price rises dramatically. Let's talk about errors. Some 1986 D quarters may show striking varieties such as off-center strikes, double die obverse, or other unusual minting flaws. While these errors are not common, they can add a whole new layer of value to the coin. Collectors are constantly on the lookout for such pieces, and auctions have proven that error coins can bring impressive premiums. but even without errors, the very finest examples of the 1986 D quarter have stunned the collecting community with their auction results. Imagine a coin that looks brand new, as though it were struck yesterday, sharp details on Washington's portrait, radiant luster across the fields, and no visible marks under magnification. Such perfection is incredibly rare, and when one surfaces, collectors compete fiercely to own it. The results? Extraordinary prices that can transform a small piece of everyday currency into a true investment-grade collectible. While ordinary circulated examples of the 1986 D quarter remain worth only 25 cents, the story changes completely at the top end of the condition spectrum, and here's the climax you've been waiting for. The very finest known examples of the 1986 D Washington quarter have been sold at auctions for as much as $40,000. Yes, you heard me correctly, $40,000 for a single quarter that once had the power to buy only a piece of candy or a bus ride. That's the magic of numismatics. So, what's the takeaway? The next time you're digging through your change jar, rolling quarters for the bank, or even searching through coin rolls as a hobby, take a close look at every 1986 D Washington quarter you find. Check its condition. Does it still shine with original mint luster? Are the details crisp and flawless? Could you be holding a hidden treasure that's worth far more than pocket change? The world of coins is filled with stories like this, stories of common coins that become extraordinary under the right circumstances. And that's why collectors remain so passionate, always searching, always hoping, always dreaming that the next coin they find will be the one that changes everything. Today, we're going on a deep journey into the world of the United States Washington quarter dollar, specifically the year 1989, with the mint mark P from the Philadelphia Mint. Don't go anywhere, because by the end of this video, you will know how a simple quarter dollar could transform into something truly extraordinary, worth more than most people would ever imagine. Let's set the stage first. The Washington quarter is one of the most iconic coins in American history. First issued in 1932 to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, this coin has been circulating in American pockets, purses, and collections for decades. On the front side, known as the obverse, we see the portrait of George Washington facing left, sculpted by John Flanagan. The inscriptions include the word Liberty across the top, the phrase "In God We Trust" on the left side, and the date at the bottom. On the back side, known as the reverse, is the striking image of the American bald eagle, wings spread wide, perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath, representing both strength and peace. Now, when it comes to the year 1989, the Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of Washington quarters. Because of that, most people think of the coin as being common, ordinary, and not worth much beyond its face value. But the truth is, there are certain examples of the 1989 P quarter that collectors prize, and those coins can be worth serious money. The first thing collectors pay attention to is the mint mark. The Philadelphia Mint uses the letter P, which is usually found right beside the date. Without this mint mark detail, you may not realize where your coin was produced. While many quarters were struck that year, not all were struck perfectly. The United States Mint is known for its quality, but errors still slip through. This brings us to one of the most exciting areas of coin collecting: error coins. An error coin is one that left the mint with a mistake. Maybe it was struck off-center, meaning the design isn't aligned correctly. Maybe it was struck twice, creating what collectors call a double die. Or maybe the coin was minted on the wrong type of planchet, giving it a completely unique look. These errors are rare, and when combined with the year 1989 and the P mint mark, they become especially valuable. Another factor is condition. The condition of a coin is graded on a scale, with mint state, or MS, being the highest for regular strike coins. A 1989 P quarter found in circulation will likely show scratches, wear, and discoloration. But a coin that has been preserved carefully, showing bright luster and no wear, can achieve a high mint state grade, and that grading can increase its value dramatically. A coin graded MS-67 or MS-68, for example, can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars simply because of its pristine condition. But here's the magic. When you combine rarity, condition, and perhaps even an error, the value of a coin can skyrocket. Collectors from around the world compete in auctions for these rare specimens, driving prices higher and higher. The 1989 P Washington quarter is no exception. Let's think for a moment about how many people handle quarters every single day without a second thought. For most, it's just 25 cents. But for a keen-eyed collector, that very same quarter could be a hidden gem, a miniature treasure, and possibly one of the most valuable pieces of change you will ever encounter. That's what makes coin collecting so thrilling, the idea that history, art, rarity, and value could be sitting quietly in the palm of your hand. Now, you may be wondering, how much could the most valuable 1989 P Washington quarter be worth? Well, ordinary examples are still just worth face value. Higher graded coins can range from a few dollars to a few $100s. But in some rare and remarkable cases, this quarter has reached astonishing values at auction, and now comes the most exciting part of this story. Among the finest and rarest examples, the 1989 P Washington quarter has been valued at an unbelievable $38,000. Today, we're going to explore one coin that millions of people have seen, used, and spent, but very few have ever looked at closely. It's the United States of America Washington quarter dollar from the year 1990, carrying the Denver Mint mark, the letter D. Now, at first, this coin might look ordinary, just another quarter in your pocket change. But don't be fooled. Some of these quarters, especially the rare ones in pristine condition, have shocked the coin collecting world by selling for absolutely incredible amounts of money. The screen shifts to a timeline graphic. Before we dive into the 1990 D quarter itself, let's take a step back and understand the history of the Washington quarter series. The very first Washington quarters were issued in 1932, created to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. They replaced the standing Liberty quarter and immediately became a staple of American coinage. The design featured Washington's portrait on the front, created by sculptor John Flanagan. On the back, we see the eagle with outstretched wings, a powerful symbol of freedom. This design remained the face of the quarter for decades, from 1932 all the way up to the late 1990s, when the U.S. Mint introduced the 50-state quarters program. That means the 1990 D quarter belongs to the classic eagle reverse era, a design now cherished by collectors who appreciate traditional American coinage. Cut to close-up images of the obverse and reverse sides of a 1990 D quarter. So, what makes the 1990 D Washington quarter special? First, let's decode the details. On the obverse side, you'll find George Washington's bust, the word liberty above, the phrase "In God We Trust" to the left, and the date 1990 at the bottom. Look closely just to the right of Washington's ponytail, you'll notice the letter D. That's the mint mark for the Denver Mint, one of the major coin-producing facilities in the United States. On the reverse side, the proud eagle stands tall with spread wings, perched on a bundle of arrows and surrounded by olive branches, a message of strength and peace. The words United States of America and quarter dollar are engraved around the border, along with the national motto, E Pluribus Unum. The camera slowly pans across a pile of circulated quarters. In 1990, the Denver Mint struck an enormous number of these quarters, more than 927 million pieces. With such a high mintage, it might sound impossible that any of them could be rare. After all, millions of people use these coins in their everyday lives, from buying a soda at a vending machine to dropping one into a parking meter. But here's the twist: while most of these quarters remain common and worth just 25 cents, a tiny fraction of them exist in extraordinary condition or contain minting errors that make them extremely valuable to collectors. And those are the coins that turn ordinary change into treasure. Footage transitions to a grading scale chart. Let's talk about grading. The value of a coin depends heavily on its condition. Professional coin grading services, like PCGS or NGC, use a 70-point scale called the Sheldon scale. A coin that grades at MS 60 is considered mint state, meaning it shows no wear from circulation, but it may have small marks or imperfections. As the grade moves up, the coin's quality and sharpness increase dramatically. At the very top, an MS 67, MS 68, or even the nearly perfect MS 69 and MS 70 are coins of breathtaking beauty, with razor-sharp details, blazing luster, and virtually no flaws. Now, most 1990D quarters you'll find in circulation today are heavily worn, probably grading somewhere between very fine and extremely fine at best. These are worth only face value. But if you happen to find one in mint state condition, especially in the higher ranges above MS-66, the story changes completely. The narrator's voice grows more dramatic as rare coin auction footage plays. Over the years, collectors have paid serious money for these high-grade examples. Some coins with extraordinary sharpness, clean surfaces, and brilliant luster have gone to auction and stunned the crowd. Add to that the possibility of rare minting errors, like off-center strikes, double dies, or clipped planchets, and the value can skyrocket even further. Imagine pulling a coin out of your pocket and realizing it has a flaw that turns it from ordinary pocket change into a prized rarity. That's the magic of coin collecting, the hunt, the surprise, and the thrill of discovery. The screen zooms in slowly on a single quarter in a protective holder. But let's answer the big question: what's the highest value ever recorded for a 1990D Washington quarter dollar? Out of the nearly 1 billion struck, a handful have been preserved in immaculate, breathtaking condition. One particular specimen, graded at the absolute top, drew the attention of advanced collectors. And when it finally went under the hammer at a major coin auction, it fetched an extraordinary price that shocked the coin community. That single 1990D Washington quarter sold for the unbelievable total of $35,000. The words glow on screen in bold, golden letters: $35,000, yes, $35,000. A simple 25-cent piece, the kind you might overlook, ended up being worth more than luxury vacations, more than jewelry, even more than some brand new cars. That's why coin collectors are always on the lookout, because even the most ordinary-looking coin can hold a hidden fortune. The closing scene shows different coins being examined under magnification, then placed into protective holders. So, the next time you find yourself holding a 1990 quarter with that little D mint mark, don't just toss it into your change jar. Look closely. Check the details. Because who knows, you might be staring at a coin that could one day bring you $35,000. Coins are more than just money, they are history, they are art, and sometimes, they are treasures waiting to be discovered. Keep searching, keep learning, and who knows, maybe your pocket change holds the next great story in the world of coin collecting. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating modern coins of the United States, the Washington quarter dollar minted in the year 1993 with the P mint mark. This is a coin that many people overlook because it looks just like every other quarter in circulation. But as you're about to see, some of these 1993 quarters are worth far more than just 25 cents. Let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter has a long history, beginning in 1932 when it was first struck to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first President of the United States. Over the decades, this coin has gone through several design updates and minting variations, but the portrait of Washington on the obverse has remained an iconic symbol of American coinage. Now, let's fast forward to 1993. This was a time when the U.S. Mint was striking hundreds of millions of quarters to keep up with circulation demands. The Philadelphia Mint, which uses the letter P as its mint mark, produced an enormous number of coins that year. With so many quarters leaving the presses, you might be wondering how one of these could possibly stand out. The answer lies in the fascinating world of minting errors, die varieties, and special conditions that can transform a regular coin into something extraordinary. Collectors around the world pay special attention to small details that most people never notice. For example, a double die on the lettering, extra thickness on the motto, "In God We Trust," or slight misalignments on the eagle reverse can increase desirability. Even small shifts in the strike or die cracks that develop during production create unique variations. A sharp-eyed collector who takes the time to look closely may discover that the everyday coin in their change actually holds the potential of being a rare treasure. Another key factor is the coin's condition. Grading plays a huge role in determining the value of any Washington quarter. A heavily circulated piece with scratches, wear, and discoloration is still just worth 25 cents. But if that same coin is found in brilliant uncirculated condition, with clean fields, no visible marks, and a sharp strike, it can be worth far more. Coins that have been preserved in mint state condition or even better, graded by professional services, attract serious attention from collectors and investors alike, and here's where things get even more exciting. Among the 1993 P. Washington quarters, certain error coins and top-quality mint state examples have shocked the collecting community. Some specimens have sold for staggering amounts at auction, proving that not all modern coins are common pocket change. If you find one with perfect luster, no flaws, and the right variety or error, you might just be holding a fortune without even realizing it. Think about it for a moment. Every day, millions of these quarters pass from hand to hand in stores, vending machines, parking meters, and change jars. Most people never even glance at the date or the tiny mint mark next to Washington's ponytail. But the few who do pay attention sometimes make discoveries that change their lives. This is why coin collecting is such a thrilling hobby. It's part history, part treasure hunt, and part investment opportunity. So what about the big question? How much can a 1993 P. Washington quarter really be worth? After all the grading, rarity, and collector demand are factored in, the most valuable examples have been reported to reach an unbelievable price of $30,000. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button and share it with your friends so they can also discover how pocket change can sometimes turn into a treasure.